One trend that we're noticing overall is allergy seasons are starting earlier and lasting longer, and that's largely attributable to climate change. So there was a study done a few years ago that found that pollen seasons in particular start about 20 days earlier and last 10 days longer from the time frame of 1990 to 2018. So overall, about 30 extra days. And most of that, about 50% of that increase in the pollen seasons is attributable to climate change, and about 8% of the increase in pollen concentration. So, sort of how strong the pollen is attributable to climate change. So that is sort of a broad trend that we're noticing when we look at the research, and then even when we hear from people with asthma and allergies, myself included, we hear that folks who may not have had seasonal allergies in the past may start having symptoms within the past few years, or maybe if they were able to control their symptoms with over-the-counter allergy medicine in the past, it might not be cutting it now. So we hear just anecdotally all the time about the impact that these extended and more intense pollen seasons are having on people. The good news is that there are a lot of really simple, easy steps that you can take every day to help manage your exposure to pollen. So things like removing your shoes before you enter your home, washing your hands after you've been outside, showering at night to remove pollen before you get into bed. These are, again, just really easy steps that you can do to help reduce your exposure. There's also really great resources that are available. So there are pollen tracking apps and websites that you can use that'll tell you when pollen levels are high or low, and specifically what types of pollen species are peaking. So these are really great to help you plan the best time for outdoor activities. So they can help you prepare, maybe if you have an option to stay inside, maybe you stay inside on high pollen days, or if you do need to be outside during pollen peaks, you can plan to wear a hat, wear sunglasses, other things that'll just, again, protect yourself from that pollen exposure. So every year, the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America, or AAFA, we release our Allergy Capitals report. And what we do is we look at the 100 most populous cities in the contiguous United States, and we rank them from 1 to 100 based on a few different factors. So the first is tree, grass, and weed pollen scores. The second is over-the-counter allergy medicine use, and the third is availability of board-certified allergist immunologists. So for this year, and this is like a trend that we see, especially within the most recent years, is the cities with that are most challenging to live with allergies are really concentrated in the southern and eastern regions of the country. These are, warmer, more humid climates that really allow plants to grow and produce pollen for longer. So for example, Wichita is actually the number one allergy capitals this year. It's the third year in the row that Wichita has landed at number one. It received a worse than average score for all three factors that we looked at. But sort of a surprise that we saw this year was New Orleans. It moved up to number two from number 34 last year. And that's really due to a significantly higher wheat pollen score. So we know that this November was the warmest in Louisiana's history. So that really just created an environment for the weed pollen to really grow. And that was kind of exacerbated by the moisture from Hurricane Francine. So that is just a prime example of some of the climate impacts that can really change where a city ranks year over year. The Virginia Beach metropolitan area fell at number 11 this year. It actually dropped from number two last year. Um, I was looking at the data for Virginia Beach, and it kind of has a history of either being within the top allergy capitals or sort of middle in the pack, like 40s, 50s. And that's likely due to changes in pollen. So if you have, particularly like wet seasons or hot seasons, that could really change how pollen grows and how long it grows and how intense it is, which will change year over year. Specifically looking at this year, though, Virginia Beach had worse than average pollen scores, specifically for grass pollen, which tends to peak in summer months. So if you notice allergy symptoms start peaking in the summer months, that might be due to the grass pollen. Um, but they do have you all do have a average availability of allergy specialists. So that's really important to get that more personalized, specialized as or allergy care. Um, so again, there is hope available for folks in your area. The one thing I didn't mention is that there are a lot of great over-the-counter treatment options that are available. You'll definitely want to talk to your healthcare provider or an allergist to figure out the option that would work best for you. So if you need a non-drowsy option, you can definitely work with them to see what would work best for you. And then if you do have allergy symptoms that might not respond to those kinds of over-the-counter treatment, there are treatment options like immunotherapy, like allergy shots, or sublingual or under the tongue treatment that might make sense for you. So again, you can work with an allergist to determine if that would work. So there is hope for all those out there. You know, we like to empower people that even if you live in a city that falls within one of the top allergy capitals, there are ways that you can manage your allergy symptoms and breathe easier.